When Sharon.
We are good to go.
We're on, Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay. It's 1 o'clock. This is a regular meeting of the Ethics Commission of the town of Chesapeake Beach. I see that the full membership is present. Also present is the clerk of this commission, as well as town clerk, and our legal counsel. And since council is new, this is your first meeting, are there any words of welcome that you want to say, or has enough been said before I wandered in here?
Simply say I appreciate the opportunity to work with the commission and I look forward to it.
Okay, we're looking forward to it.
As well, yes.
All right. We start as usual with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please.
To the power stands. Okay.
First agenda item is the approval of the agenda. The agenda has been previously distributed. Anybody, any comment, objection? All right, the agenda is approved. Next is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, which was in the distant past, March 28th of this year. And that also has been distributed well before this meeting. Are there any objections, observations? No. All right, the minutes are approved. Next agenda item is introduction of new legal counsel. I think this has in effect been taken care of. And now we're getting to the meat of this event. The review of the public disclosure statements for the 2023 reporting periods. These disclosure statements are mandated by state law. In the past, they were only required of state officials. Fairly recently, a number of years ago, the legislature decided to expand this requirement even to humble municipalities like this town, and it requires us to make certain inquiries which are essentially prescribed by state law once a year, and we do this in the month of April each year, and it is retroactive. It involves situations or events that happened in the previous calendar year. And we have there are quite a number of people who are covered persons in the language of the ordinance. We'll call them filers because it's a shorter, rolls more easily off the tongue. And we have a list here, thanks to our faithful and efficient clerk, which shows the statements that have been received, as well as those which were not received. And I think here we have as many as 3 black sheep, and we will go through appropriate procedures, what we must do to get them to remedy this deficiency. Technically, there are fines which we could levy. Technically, if these fines are not paid, we could persuade a judge to hold the delinquents in contempt. I'm not aware of that ever having happened in any comparable towns, but that's what the law permits. And I think what we should do is go through the list of the go through the pile of paper that we have as a preliminary, in preparation to this. We have asked legal counsel to take a first walkthrough and give us his determination whether there are any omissions, deficiencies, or errors in the statements that were received, and that has been in everybody's hands for quite a number of weeks. So everybody has had the opportunity to go through that list. Let us spilled it into my briefcase, but that's one of these funny things that happen, and that's what chairmen of bodies like this are for, so everybody can sneer. I said chairman because I would not ever say the same thing about a chairwoman. All right. Allow me to start with some general preliminary observations. This was the first year in which we used a reporting form that was could be filed online. It's a fillable form, and needless to say, it will require improvement for next time. For example, our present form lists the specific questions that must be answered in 2 places, and that, of course, is not particularly good. But for this year, that's the best we could do. Apparently, it is difficult for the software mavens to toss one of these catalogs out, but we'll be working on that. I mean, basically, what I can't help myself to sort of jump ahead. What I would like to see is that we move all the instructions and definitions of terms into a separate piece of paper, which would not become part of the filings themselves. And this is one thing. We also have to do some fine tuning of the phrasing of the particular questions and sub questions. Apparently, not all of it is perfectly transparent, and it's shown in some of the answers. My next general point pertains to a technically an error that appears on, or at least 10 of these filings, and that has to do with the date of the filing. The software is pre-populated with the first two digits of the current year 2023, for which to which the disclosures relate, and so the filer will have to add it's for 23, and that was done. Except the software moved the 23, those two numerals, onto a new line, and counsel had said, no, that's an error. But it is not an error for which we can blame the filer, because it's our form that really makes it come out that way.
It's it that way. Yeah.
Now, I think that the chances that there is a misunderstanding, or that anybody could misconstrue these separated numbers, is probably remote. And I would therefore ask the Commission to concur with my own humble judgment that we don't mark this as an error or omission. We just accept it as is. Another,
Peter,
I'm sorry.
the other issue with that is, again, it's our form, but it doesn't specify December 31st.
That's right.
And that needs to be remedied at some other time.
Yeah, that
one
will be part of the
update.
Yeah.
But the other, while we are talking about dates, the other mistake that I, as well as a number of other filers, made a mistake of putting 2024.
Right.
And again, we may want to consider accepting those as a mistake that is obviously made by filers. That's my opinion.
Yes, I would second that.
Let's
but
talk
I have,
about that, because there will be filers again next year.
Yeah.
If they've already put in a 24, that may be accepted by the system. The 24 is already done. So let's talk about how do we figure that part.
That has to be corrected.
Yeah, I agree.
And here I have a question for learned counsel. The same question came up a year ago when we worked on the previous version of the questionnaire. And there were some small errors of the same kind. Somebody wrote the wrong year. And the question that we put to counsel is, must we go back to that particular filer, or can we make that correction with or without contacting this person? The contact would be Joe, so-and-so. It's about your disclosure statement. The date you wrote 1924, but it really relates to 23. Is that what you meant? And the expected answer from the filer would be, oh yeah, of course I meant 23. So then usually it's poor Sharon who is making these phone calls. She could just cross it out, write in the correct number, and initial it at the margin. Last year we used paper forms. Now, previous counsel told us, no, we shouldn't do it that way because the disclosure statements are a statement under oath.
Legal document, yeah.
Is accurate and complete and error-free. I'll have to look at our language.
Right.
And so last year, Sharon no doubt made herself quite unpopular by calling people and say, next time you are here, stop by my desk and you make the correction. So that seemed to a non-legal mind that would look like gilding the lily.
Mm.
And my question is, would you concur with the advice we got last time, or could those corrections be made orally by contacting the person having the filer say, yes, I meant this or I meant that, please correct it.
Are they kept in paper form or are they kept online?
Well, last year it was paper forms. This year it's online, except for, I think, 2 or maybe 3 people who opted out and opted for paper.
It seems to me if you put a notation in the file that on such and such a date spoke with, gave permission, to change the date, I think that would satisfy.
Okay, I like that answer, because it has the advantage of also conform with common sense, excessive burdens on people, or no real benefit. I don't think there's a risk of error, deception, or anything bad like that.
And I think it's obvious from the dates, January to December, when it's filed in April, that it's not for the full year. So it's obvious that it was a mistake initially. So I think that way.
Right, 24, it's an obvious error.
Peter, another question is that you pointed out some shortcomings on the form that we came up with. I observed some additional shortcomings. Do you want to talk about those in this meeting, or shall we set up a separate meeting to talk about those?
Separate meeting, please.
We have enough to do today.
I agree.
And of course, there are some other things that we have to do with
Otherwise, you guys will never
with
leave
our
here.
format and so on, and that'll be enough. So I'd say let's put that off.
Agreed.
One other question. I have a possibly imprecise recollection that for the previous year, one of our filers reported that he owned not only his home, but another piece of property in town. And, that was reported. I did not see that in this year's report from the same person. And now this doesn't mean that it wasn't, you may have sold the place. But, and also my recollection may be faulty. And so, Sharon, I will, it's Jay Barry. And, that you bought a piece of property that belongs to a fellow named Gritty, who's a character around the marina. And so I want to make sure that I remember correctly that he reported this, and then we would contact him. Say, we only got one Schedule A, which is the schedule identifying the property. What happened to the other place you bought? But behind that is a much broader question, and that is it part of our responsibilities to act as
No.
detectives and, go back and find out whether there is some unexplained inconsistency or discrepancy. There's nothing in the law that I've
Right.
seen that requires that. So we can accept your, and nonetheless, I would like to know, and I think Jay is the only one that I recall, maybe erroneously, would point it out to him. Very important official in. My last general point, we have a new filer this year. It's a lady whose title is Town Planner. We didn't have that in the past. And I think we should make a decision whether she is actually obligated to file or not. Now, she did. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would like to clarify this because it is beyond our authority and, improper and burdensome and outright impolite if that we require this filing from somebody who is not required to it under the law. And again, I don't think that we necessarily have to answer that today. The filing was made. Just doing house cleaning. The way the ordinance is structured, it identifies certain office holders specifically, such as the mayor or the town treasurer. It also specifically covers us because all members of enumerated town commissions. So we have to file. But the third category of people is the law requires the directors of each town division or department to file. There was only one person who actually styles himself the director of something. That's the director of public works. Now, there are other things that also have to do with public works. For example, the manager of the treatment sewage water treatment plant is described as a superintendent. And the question is question that I think we have to answer to ourselves: is that the head of a government department, or a town department, or is it some other official? And Sharon, as you know, I'm trying to get together with Holly to discuss that with him. I think the substantive answer has to come from the town government, and then once we know what they think, then we can start thinking. Look at maybe disclosure statements of other municipalities, see whom they cover, or look at the legislative history at the state level that created this obligation for little guys like us. So that's coming up. And Gentlemen, you can look forward to many fruitful conversations.
Sure.
So, based on the conversation you just had, what does that mean for the code enforcement? Or I don't know if town planner is a covered individual.
Yeah.
So for this year, do we go back, or Sharon goes back and says, oh, based on the current ethics code, you don't need to file?
I don't recall whether we had a code enforcement officer as such last year. I think the town's planning and zoning consultant may have had that role to play, but I'm not sure.
I guess my question is more generic. If it's determined by the council that somebody who has filed is not a covered entity, should the town go back to that individual and point out that you didn't need to file this year or future years unless we change the code? And we shouldn't then comment on those disclosures.
And Peter and Fahad, another question. Did someone tell these people to file?
I'm sorry?
Did someone tell these two people to file?
Well, that's actually a more procedural process behind this.
Right.
Of how did those individuals decide to file?
Sure.
Were they incorrectly, perhaps, were informed that they needed to file, or, and that's a more of a procedural and process in town.
Yes.
So for those who are not, I think the individual covered are pretty straightforward, aren't they?
Except,
The directors and
I think the only one that comes to my mind is the planner. That's a new function. And it's one person. And is that person the director of a department consisting of herself only? And my inclination as a free citizen of the United States is if the government cannot require me to do anything unless there's a clear legal basis for it.
Right.
Government can ask for volunteers, and that's fine. That's a different subject.
Which begs the question, are these folks at the director level? Maybe it doesn't show on their title, but maybe from the town's hierarchy, they're considered
from the perspective
director.
of the mayor and the town administrator, they say, oh, that position is of such weight that we have to treat it equivalent to a director who has a whole crew under him.
Okay, so for this review, then we just raise the question and we talk about the issues with the disclosure pending the determination of should they be really covered or not. Is that fair?
Yes, for this time, I view this as something to be done in the future. For this year, we have a filing from this person, and there is no reason that I can see, and she obviously didn't object to it and said, whoever said I'm covered.
Okay.
So it would be a bit silly, outright silly, not just a bit, to go back to her and say, here's your statement. We really didn't want it at all. Now she will probably say to Sharon and her bosses in the offices back here, I didn't have to do it. Why did you make me?
Right. Exactly.
This is not something we want to hear.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think if there is something not right, we should fix it, regardless of of how we go about it. I mean,
Well,
again, I think it depend, it is pending the determination, are they covered individuals or not? And if not, somebody somewhere, the process needs to be changed, and they need to be told that, sorry, you went through the hassle, but don't do this again because you're not covered. Or if of course they are in fact a covered entity, an individual, then
okay, so you're saying if we decide at some point that no, town planner is not covered, that does not rise to the level of a director of a department.
not us. The town has to decide if that position rises to the director level. That's what in the code, the code is.
My guess is that someone already decided that, they just didn't let us know.
That's what I'm
Just know
thinking. That if that's the case, then it's fine.
All right, are we in agreement that if it turns out that that particular person was not obligated to file, that we'll give it back?
I'm not sure you can give it back because once it's filed, it becomes a public record. It's a little tricky as to whether or not, once it becomes a public record, removing it from the public record.
Perhaps we could leave this
Well,
with you,
but-
counsel, in terms of, one, the first question is that, are these folks covered under the current code?
It does, tell me if I'm wrong. I think it does not become a public record. It does not become a public record by the paper being given to us. No, we will go through this and we will send a lot of them back. So it is not fit to be, it's a public record in Adventure, like a corporate charter. It's can be agreed by all the founders, but until it's got stamped by the Secretary of State, it's not a public record. It's just a private record.
That'll make it easier.
So going back to the question in hand, is it fair to either you or the council clarify this with the town in terms of,
I will do that.
okay,
Oh, yeah. No, I've already
Okay.
signaled that I would like to have a sit down. The person at the town government is Holly Wall, the
Right,
town
right.
administrator. The mayor has basically delegated everything having to do with the ethics ordinance to her. Yeah. Okay, that concludes my my introductory remarks, and I suppose we go through these in the same order in which they are listed on the listing that. So we will start with the mayor and council, and I'm inclined to pass everything that council has designated as okay. There might be some exceptions to that, but for Pat Mahoney, Mayor, Councilmember Pardik, Lawrence Fink, Margaret Hartman, I think they are all okay and can be accepted.
I have a comment on Keith Pardik. I don't believe that the Schedule G was necessary to be filed. That's for self-employment. And I think
Who is that?
the second person on the list, Keith. the second person on the list.
Oh, Jaworski.
Oh, no,
The bottom
No,
one, Keith
Hardy.
Pardiak.
Okay.
right.
And,
So he filed Schedule G for a government job that he has. It's Schedule G is for just self-employment.
Yeah.
So it was not really necessary. I don't know what we do with that, but that's just not really related to Schedule G.
Actually, I didn't bring Party with me because I didn't see a flaw in it. So
A copy if you want to take a look.
it's
Schedule G.
He identified it as yes, and we have sources of earned income. Is the name of the employer. Where is the error or omission?
As I recall, I don't have the form in front of me, but it was a government, federal government position.
U.S. Geological Survey, I think it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just a mistake.
No, he's supposed to identify the employer, name and address, and he does that.
For self-employment only, not for any employment.
It does say employer on the question.
Yeah,
I
that's-
realize that, but the heading for the whole Schedule G is
Just
self-employment, and that's part of the not being clear really on the form.
Right there, you're right.
It really
Oh,
should
yeah.
have been on,
Did
you
you
know,
have any earned income from an employer?
right, but look at the definition of Schedule G. The definition of Schedule G is for self-employment income.
All entities. Okay, he is an elected official, and he must.
Well, I'm
provide
not sure about that.
information.
Yeah, or
that-
from an
it-
employer.
It's very broad. It's very broad. It says or from any employer.
Well, but that wasn't the intention, I don't
I'm
think,
sure,
and
I'm
nobody
sure.
else
No,
has filed it.
no, you're right,
If that is
exactly.
the case, then we have to go back to
All of
equity,
them, right? Exactly.
because they didn't include
Yeah,
the
yeah,
self, other employments. I think the intention, again, we may go back to the code. The intention was really focusing on self-employment, not any employment.
Clean that up, yeah. That's a catch-all thing right there. Did you? Or close
Yeah,
enough
as
to-
you go down the form,
It
it
covers
becomes,
everything, yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm dense. I'm not quite following you. Maybe it's my hearing aid that.
No.
no. Okay, so the first sentence,
The question is, does that section apply only to self-employment or does it apply to all employment?
No, that's.
And, I mean, language is broad enough to include all employment.
Or from an employer.
no, like, except the threshold question is a key question. The threshold question says very clearly it's self-employment.
That one needs to be cleaned
For
up.
all entities, whether or not located in the. I'm. Explain it to me again. Must be stupid today.
Just the question is whether or not Section G is only supposed to apply to self-employment as opposed to all employment. It has been,
I think it's question is quite clear.
Think that it is.
that it's clear.
No, I think the threshold question is the main thing to focus on. And the following parts of the schedule should have repeated the self-employment to make it clear. It's not right now.
As any earned income from self-employment, comma, or from an employer, comma, or from an entity, and that wouldn't apply. And he didn't say, I have income from self-employment. He said, I have it from an employer, and identified the employer. So what? I'm
Right. So I think my recollection is that this schedule was primarily focusing on self-employment, not all employments. If that's the case, I think many people may have to update their.
No, it's any earned income, and income from an employer is, if you look at the ordinance, very clearly required self-employment or payment that you get with a W-2 form.
So I didn't interpret that way. So I need to update mine because that
the way I interpreted.
interpret that way. But okay.
I filled mine out.
So in that case, wouldn't Schedule H and G be redundant for the town employees, for example?
I don't think H and G were ever looked at together. You know, H is the offshoot of a fairly recent amendment of the state law that wasn't there before, and in H, they only ask a relationship with certain government entities.
It also includes the town, though.
And there are,
And,
and you have to
uh,
indicate how much you're earning from those entities. So wouldn't that be redundant?
Well, I think the real question is whether the stipend, they call it, the stipend that council members receive, that earned income.
That's a separate issue, I think. Whatever shows in their W-2 from town, I think that's what they need to include, stipend or otherwise, whatever is
Correct,
included
yeah.
in W-2.
I didn't consult tax counsel. I don't know whether, Sharon, maybe you know, do the council members get a W-2 form?
I know.
All right, and yeah, in that case, they have to disclose that it's not a stipend, it's a salary, isn't it? Honorarium.
Very much salary, right?
Okay, so that means When I reviewed this, I did it under the assumption that the town council members' stipends do not count as earned income. Be more like a student scholarship, something of that nature. But if the town treats it as income for purposes and sends them a W-2 form, then we must conclude, because the definition of earned income includes a catch-all form. Anything else that might be considered earned income under the tax laws. That is not a crystal clear boundary line. Okay, so I mean, what we have to do is I would prefer not to crowd our day, but I think we should all go take a look at the Schedule H. It's not a huge number of people who have to file that, and see whether they all have to file Schedule H because there's a financial relationship with a government entity, meaning the town. And if that is there, then we have to go back to Schedule G and send it back to them. Okay. Let's see, we are still on with the elected officials. Talked about Pardik. Jaworski did not disclose his relationship with the town of Chesapeake Beach. I think all others only did Pardik, Jaworski did, Fink did. So that has to be remedied. I have nothing on Fink. I have nothing on Hartman. Bodine. One of the errors is reporting period. She wrote December 24. It's the in-house correction with the notation. And
I have a comment on Bodine's disclosure.
Her Schedule B, that is relates to an interest in a business, somewhat unusual. Apparently, she and her husband like to play around with the stock market. Apparently not in the hopes of getting rich, but just to have fun. And so they own a largish portfolio of stocks. And I think she gives us a lengthy list, but it's a rather unusual situation. And
But my question on Schedule B is that even required?
I'm sorry?
My question on Schedule B, is it intended to include stocks? I didn't think so,
So either no.
because most everybody has stocks.
Well, she is an elected office and has to disclose any business entity, whether or not the business has anything to do with the town. And I see at the end of her she lists under Schedule L, other disclosures. And the threshold question is there any additional information or interest you would like to disclose? And then lists her husband's employment, her daughter's employment, and then says buying stock is a hobby of mine, holds on to it. And so there's a lengthy list of don't know how long that list is altogether, and whether she actually enumerated a company in which they have more than one share.
She has a lot of information here, and I'm not sure we even need it.
The way the question is phrased, to get back to her and have her confirm that her listing is complete. That she listed instead of Schedule B, Schedule L. That I think is harmless error.
That was
But apparently we will have to verify that she really has a full list of her stock portfolio.
that's assuming,
If they do it all through a broker, that should be easy. Because the brokerage firm would list of all her holdings.
But Peter, my question is that, is it even required? I don't think it's required to file all your stock holdings, because I'm sure, that's a huge burden if we require that. Now,
I
federal government does require it.
I very
worked
much
there.
wish it were so, but let's see. Question is, do you have an interest? Doesn't see how big an interest in any business and entities, if you're an elected official, which she is, in any entity, whether or not that entity did business with the town, or it's not, there is no limitation just in an entity that does business with the town, of which there are quite a few. The questionnaire has an appendix with all the contractors and also anybody who put in a bid or responded to an RFP.
interest is defined in the code. And it doesn't specifically talk about stocks. It talks about common trust fund or trusts, mutual funds.
Do me a favor, do me a favor, guys. And look at her Schedule L. Schedule L. She's got everyone she has interest who has interest with her, including all of her doctors, her dentists. This is more than
Looking at the ordinance.
is required. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not necessary.
Right.
We don't need to know that.
Looking at,
You don't need to know that really, I didn't think that stocks are required to
No,
be
no,
disclosed.
no.
And as such, if that's the case, this is really a note to us that we need to clarify in the future revisions that stocks are not required to be disclosed. Now, she does do a pretty good job in disclosing everything, including the appreciation dinner, which actually I know a number of people have attended, and I didn't see that
Yeah.
in the thing. So, what do we do with that? It was something that was open. Everybody saw each other. It wasn't like anything.
Right.
Secret
right.
about it.
No.
Also a definition of business entities that include a business entity in which the individual held a 10% or greater interest.
There you go. Okay.
Public stocks are not going to be anywhere near that.
Right. And that's a definition of the interest.
That's a business entity. Yes, that's in the code.
Okay. So that really answers our question
Yes, it
that
does. It does.
stocks, if you don't have more than 10% of a company, you don't need to disclose.
all right, you gentlemen are ahead of me as usual. I just found the code section.
Mhm.
So what must we do now?
Just a note for future, right?
Right, that stocks don't have
That
to
we
be
made
listed.
it, make it very clear that if you don't have more than 10% of any company, you don't need to disclose the stocks.
Where does it say?
In the definition of business entity.
Interest attributable or interest.
Dash three.
And 10% or greater interest. Oh. Yes. Means we have to amend our questionnaire.
To specify in that section
That
that's,
section.
right, stocks less than 10% of a company or not.
Schedule B, I just made a note for myself. Schedule B, we need to.
think we can move to,
I have a question about her return again, or disclosure. My question is that Schedule D she filed,
are we still on Bodine?
yes,
Yeah.
was that needed? That is a question. Did she need to file Schedule D? Seems like Schedule H covers that, does it
H,
not?
Yeah,
So she didn't need to disclose the town
uh,
relationship in Schedule D.
no, I'm with you regarding Schedule H. Describe the subject matter of the relationship and the amount of money that you received or gave in the relationship and the nature of the relationship, and says various, which is no doubt true, but it's not responsive to the question. Yeah.
So Schedule H, yes, it's insufficient, and it doesn't indicate the amount of compensation.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can we move on to Greg Morris? Point A, it's one we can leave alone. Schedule point B, the address, he gave the house number and Woodland. I think the full name of that street is Woodland.
I searched it, it's
Woodland
court,
Terrace.
it's court.
Court.
It's Woodland Court, and it's only Woodland Court. There is no other avenue, street, or otherwise. So I think it's a minor
we
thing.
can let this go.
And furthermore,
Yes.
in his disclosure later on, he mentions the address, and it does say court. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's
It's covered, yeah.
a slight oversight.
I got you.
Yeah, I think, let's not be petty.
Schedule H is also incomplete.
You gentlemen may help me out. It seems I didn't bring Schedule H with me.
I have his. If you want to look. Okay. He answered no to that. Are you saying?
Well, council's note does not appear to have been completed, and I crossed that out. But I don't have a question, Schedule H at all.
Oh, I just have. I don't know if he attached it.
He says it's not applicable. It's a no.
Oh, he didn't. No, he didn't file a Schedule H. And
Should he have?
why? This is Greg Morris. Why, yes, he's a council member. He has a financial relationship with a local government entity. Our question says expressly, including the town itself. So, we have. Okay. Now, we have done the elected officials. Gentlemen, how does your time schedule look? Shall we? carry on
Carry on, move on.
until the bitter end.
Yes.
I will have to be out of here at 5. I think at the Kennedy Center at 7.
Oh, if we're still working, you're still staying. No,
No, you don't want to
Nope,
subscribe to
nope,
the kind
nope,
between
nope.
5.
we gotta stay, you gotta stay. Okay. Let's move on.
That's what I gotta do. Maybe you can release me a half hour earlier or so. Okay, on our to do, wait a minute, here, this is, what's yours? I think,
This one?
H for Morris.
No, that one's yours. Mine has holes in it. That's yours.
Who gave me this? Oh, yeah, okay, it's mine. As long as we're talking about elective office, we have a disclosure statement from one candidate for elective office. It's Bruce Wall. He's a previous mayor. And what I would like to do, candidates for office have to file within a certain period after they filed for candidacy, and he did that. But I would like to give this back to him. He and give him a tutorial. You know that the date isn't right. Because so I have to tell him, yes, we can accept this, but be aware that 56 days prior to the voting date, you have to update this from the date of this statement until that critical period before the election, and then so I want to give him I mean, he can read.
You submit.
He spent 2 terms as a mayor, so he can read our ordinances. But I want to be nice to him, and say, yeah, look, Bruce, this is well and good, but be aware that you still have to do this, that, and the other thing. Board of Appeals.
Excuse me, hold on a second. I think I have a comment on Bruce. I have a note that Schedule A, question 10, is the answer correct? So he indicates in Schedule A that he bought the property from himself, or unless there is another Bruce Wall who's related to him.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know if I can vote for that guy. I'm trying to think.
Oh, yeah, from whom was the property acquired? Bruce Wall.
Well, it's now owned jointly, so it's possible that he
Well,
sold it to his wife together.
he's not that old. He's
But
not getting senile. And but yeah.
It needs at least an explanation.
Right.
Maybe he has a split personality.
Is Bruce Wall,
Oh.
Sharon, is Bruce Wall related to Ollie?
No.
No relationship.
Ready for
Yes.
appeals?
Yeah.
Okay. Birch.
11, that's.
11, yeah.
Yep.
No, I will quarrel with council. I think what consideration was, well,
Yeah, that question has to be answered, yeah.
there must have been consideration given. Okay. Next question.
Back to Richard Birch. Schedule G, questions 3 and 4. Schedule G, questions 3 and 4. They're NA.
Are we still on Birch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perhaps he means that no other relative received.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he means,
Too.
yeah.
Maybe the case.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. It's good. I think he meant that none of his relatives were employed by that entity.
Oh. Okay. Can we then go to the next? Boone Star. I have nothing there. I have nothing for Everett. I have nothing for Doherty.
I have a comment about Doherty. Schedule A, questions 3 and 4.
Doherty.
Schedule A, questions 3 and 4.
Oh, got it.
Oh, what is our beef?
Getting to it now. I guess my question is that can you be an owner and the interest be attributable? Attributable?
That's a question for council. Can you,
Yeah,
can you,
exactly.
can you,
right.
can you be an owner and be,
Yeah.
and have the interest be
Is
attributable?
that okay?
He's the owner. Is the interest? If you are the owner, I don't know why it would need to be attributable to you.
Right.
I, sole owner solely, so I don't understand why you would put attributable.
Yeah, that's.
Probably should be corrected.
I would think since he identifies himself as the owner, it's not necessary.
Yeah, probably, yeah, right.
Okay.
Or do we have a beef or are we clear with Doherty?
No, you're good. You're good with it.
All right. On to Planning and Zoning Commission. I have no beef with Larry Brown, none with Green Gold. I have some puzzlement relating to Janet Rutke. Now, she writes, where was it? A grievance commissioner. And I don't know what that is. I think she misspelled grievance.
And her filing date is wrong as well. It says 24, so.
And Sharon, maybe this is something that you could enlighten us on if you it seems that the planning and zoning, which is one of the larger, more one of the larger bodies, and it seems from Janet's answer that they have one of their numbers as a grievance commissioner, and that indicates that it's most likely it is just some kind of internal division of labor. But maybe it is this something that,
She's on the grievance board.
sorry?
She's on the grievance board. We have a grievance board and she's on it.
What kind of grievances?
I would say that that would have to do with maybe a
I mean,
grievance
is
by an
it
employee.
for somebody on the committee has a beef with other committee members? Or is it, a citizen who feels that he has been improperly treated by the commission, and then they can complain, and she is some kind of
Or an employee grievance.
Sharon, how many people are on that board?
3.
3. So should other members file also?
Well, that's not defined in the ordinance for them to do that, but she's just telling you that she's also on the grievance board. I can't even remember when the last time, we had a grievance.
Is that job, that function, is that part of her appointment as a member of that commission? Or is it something that the commissioners decided among themselves internally?
Has nothing to do with the commission, the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's a separate board.
Within planning and zoning?
No,
Okay.
she's just saying that
Yeah, okay.
You're
That's
asking-
curious why it's here, yeah.
you're asking of her current position that she holds, and she's just telling you a Planning and Zoning member and also a member of the grievance board.
Sharon, as so often, I only could hear half of what you said. And maybe I should do what I threatened to do at our last meeting and hand the chair over to somebody else. But yeah, you would have to decide that. I can't decide it for myself. And for our ground rules are that this commission elects its own chairman. And my question was, and of course the council would certainly be within its rights to say, you're regular members and this person is the chair. Consult council about that, or look at the the town ordinance. But right offhand, this is certainly within the prerogative of the council. Let's say, but and if that is true for the Planning and Zoning Commission also, then that we should know about that, I think. But getting back to myself, if you two gentlemen, if any of you wants to take over this chair, I'm partially handicapped, not only with my knee. I get the doctor's browbeaten into doing it finally. But whatever can be done about my ears has been done. I have very expensive little devices sitting there. And it's like it magnifies just fine, but you don't get the acuity. It's like looking through cheap binoculars. It can say on the label, 12 by whatever. You look through, and you want to count the antler points on a deer, and you can see it this big. You still can't discern the individual points. Whereas if you buy a, Swarovski or a Zeiss 8 kind, you see it crystal clear. Expensive binoculars are wonderful. So again, I ask you to mull it over. So if it would probably make our meetings run a little more smoothly. Next time.
Okay.
Was there any part of this conversation that you missed that you would like to be repeated? The conversation that we had with Sharon.
Well, I don't think we have to go to the town council for it.
No, I meant the board of grievance.
Grievance.
Oh, grievance.
Yeah. So I think she just disclosed that she's part of that.
I will call Janet. I mean, I know her very well.
Yeah.
And say, hey, what are you? What's this grievance business? And you spell it properly, at least.
Okay.
I have a comment about Kelly Hahn. Let's see if I can bring up the.
Oh, there's Rutgers finding reminds me, one of the things that we have to correct is some people also filled in the question, fill in the date of this report, and then there is a separate question for people who left office. They have to file your termination report, and that should be left blank. Of course, that's not to be filed by anyone who hasn't actually resigned, which includes nobody of the crop that we have now. And that also is, that should simply be struck out. And that's one of those corrections which, you call them up and say, you filled in the date for the termination report. It's premature. You haven't resigned just yet.
Mhm.
Are you resigning now? But you don't ask that last question because they may answer positive. Can we continue? More planning and zoning. I have nothing on the on Bureau. Kelly Horn. The date. It's not December 24. It's December 23. And one question whether it's the house is owned jointly or solely. She has to tell you that, and that also is, I think, a correction that can be more made over the phone with proper recording by the town clerk. So that gets us to the most important of all, the Ethics Commission. And I'm the first one mentioned, and I made an intentional error.
I apologize. Rachel Weaver, going back to PNZ, planning and zoning. The introductory threshold question for schedule.
Yes, you're right. Didn't file a Schedule G. Yeah. So she has to do that. Sorry, I had that. So onward, Ethics Commission. On Schedule G, if a close relative has earned income, you have to identify the relationship. And I didn't do that intentionally because I wanted to go through the process of correcting errors like that. My expectation was that I would do this long before this meeting, but it somehow never rose to the surface. So I plead guilty to not to making an error, but to not following up before this.
This meeting.
And, or for here now, it's my daughter. Making more money than I ever did. And she earns every penny of it. Okay. Farhad, you filled in the dates for the termination report, but you have not actually resigned, have you?
8 for termination report. No, I think I put it incorrectly as 24.
Yes.
I think that was the mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
It's out on the cover page.
Yeah, it says 24. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hired by somebody who left office during the period January 1 through 12/24.
And the other correction I need to do is that I
You,
do
you don't need to do anything really.
just, I guess we decided that I need to initial it.
Tell her now that you authorize her to just cross out the
Year, yeah.
24 to,
the termination report. There's a second short paragraph on the cover page.
and also make the correction for the year 2023, not 24. That was the disclosure.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the
Right. But the other thing I need to do is that I do teach at George Mason University, so I have a earned income from that, and I have to disclose that. The way I read Schedule G was only self-employed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering whether you were living off of your investments.
Oh, that too. Oh, that's more.
Or
George Mason doesn't pay that much, so don't get too excited
you
about
have
it.
a
Excuse me.
Oh, there are situations like that, I think, somewhere out there. Greg, council wrote here address and cover page is incomplete. I think it is complete.
It is complete, yeah. They got that wrong, but that's okay. I can write it down again.
And so, and then we also have previous council as the fourth filer. There is just the very frequent date 2023 where the numbers are split. Other than that, Fred is okay. And nobody has anything. We can move to the Board of Election. Randy Getman, who's chaired that committee since time immemorial, very dedicated citizen. He has to terminate the interest on the cover sheet termination report that is inadvertently filled out. Anybody have anything on Getman?
Nope.
What about Soroka? You have the date again, and Mr. Guido, also the dates, and he filled in the termination report date. I think one of the instructions to the filers for next time would be in capital letters, do read the small print or something like
Yeah.
that.
But make it bold though.
Yeah, that's right.
And that gets us to the town staff.
Well, Victor Guido, last person on Board of Elections.
Yeah,
Victor
Okay, what-
Guido.
what was the grievance?
Well, Fred identified that question 7 incorrectly answered,
Is it for Guido or?
and it's
Soroka?
really question 10.
Yeah, it's question
Not
10.
question 7.
Unknown, yeah, unknown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's 7.
Did you Getman?
Huh?
Did you say Getman?
This is Guido.
Guido.
Guido, I think.
Guido.
Well, I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm probably butchering the name.
How's my Italian? It's Guido. It's not Guido.
Depends on where you are.
That's how he pronounces it.
Guido.
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 Which question?
It's question 7, not 10. I'm sorry,
Let's
question
get away.
10.
Oh,
Question
yeah,
10.
from whom was the property purchased?
Unknown, yeah.
So Guido. Yeah, I missed that one.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, yes, unknown. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, there's the property was acquired in 2009. There's no excuse yet. Once you get into the 1880s, it's excusable that you don't
Yeah.
remember, who was the bloke that bought this place from?
I will be honest with you though.
I had to look.
I will tell you this, if I didn't have to fill these out every year, I would have long forgotten the person I bought the home from. Serious.
it up.
Yeah.
It'll be on the deed.
Can we move on to town staff?
Yes, please.
Okay, I have, other than the date, again, I have nothing on Holly Wall, nothing on Sharon. You're a good citizen, Sharon.
Yeah, keep it up.
Then Jay Berry, the only director of a town department, as I mentioned earlier. And I think the commission already answered one question I have, am I legally or morally obligated to dig out last year's report and see whether then call him up and say, Jay, did you sell Gritty's place again? Gritty's place was, it should have been a local sightseeing destination.
Yes.
You've seen that thing. I mean, there were half-broken boats and all kinds of equipment strewn all over the place. Little wooded area, and I'm not even sure whether it's within the town limits or not. He was a character, still is probably. Is everybody satisfied with Schedule H, the subject matter of the relationship with municipality? He's sort of laconic there in his answer. a town employee, and that's true, but it's not fully responsive. He's not the kind of guy who wields a shovel. But you know, I'll be prepared to let it go. Employee, that's the relationship.
He did describe his current position on the first page.
Uh,
So that,
Well, yeah, his public works director, that should basically cover everything. The treasurer, again, problems with the, not problem, little issue with the termination report and the dates. Relationship, employer. I'm willing to let that go because we know already that she's a town treasurer.
mhm.
Just Stinnett, my question here, which I will confirm with the town, is a superintendent, a director of a town department. They may say yes or no, but the treatment plant is, it's a heavy duty operation of the town. And I don't know how many people work there, but it's a crew. And so if your town management tells me, no, we consider the superintendent to be a director, small d, that should be fine, but they should say that.
So you will clarify that
Yeah.
with Jay as well as the other two positions, because it doesn't say
Yeah.
on their title that they're directors.
No, well, those two and the planner.
The planner and code enforcer, I guess.
In fact, I also want to ask, what the hell does a planner do? We have a planning and zoning commission, 6 people.
Yes, but they are citizen planners. They're not
Outside,
professional planners, yeah.
Contractor, zoning consultant, who hasn't filed yet. Okay, we get to the number 6, Ms. Franklin. In D, there is something missing.
I think I figured this one out too. He is the town planner.
It's the town planner.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. She's the town planner.
This is the position that was contracted out before, right? With, I forget his
Well,
name.
Chris Jakubiak used to be the zoning administrator. And he also sat in with the Planning and Zoning Commission. But
Number
Holly
5
is now the zoning administrator.
is what kind of business that the entity do with the town. And she left that consulting services, and I don't think that is really responsive. I mean, if it would be responsive if somewhere they told us, give us a job description or something of the planner. I can imagine all kinds of things for the town planner to do. I could do that. I can plan for the town. You'd better believe it. So we want to have a little more.
Mhm.
If the town planner is in fact a covered
Right.
person,
Right, sure.
then we'll have to get her to explain a little bit more. And we have a person whose job is code enforcement. That is it's also a new phase, I believe. And on Schedule G, it's a little G and H. It's a little sparse on the explaining the nature of the relationship. So
Are you still on Sarah Franklin or someone else?
We've
I think we were
moved
on
on.
Varner, yeah.
Or, I've got it. William Varner.
he says on Schedule H, the nature of a relationship and described as employer-employee. And that is, I think, a little. Would like him to be a little more descriptive.
Excuse me.
I mean, if I see this as a resident, can say, oh, is he the guy I have to go to if I have a beef with my neighbor because the branches of his pear tree are stretching over my property? Don't know whether that's a zoning matter or whether that's a neighborhood law matter. Oh, in addition, I have a disclosure statement from the town's attorney. And there is no Schedule G. And G is, do you have earned income? Now, my guess is that the town attorney sends out bills and gets paid, and so he would have earned income.
Correct.
And unless he is willing to say, no, all the money that I pay is unearned, I don't even deserve it. But that would be unusual.
I think he's covered that in H,
And
though.
then also later, Schedule H.
Yeah, he's covered it in H. Yeah.
This is this famous schedule that we had lengthy discussions about. And in fact, he has a wrong Schedule H here.
Where he covers all of that.
And what shouldn't have been there is the note following the threshold question. I didn't compare it with others, but we were belly aching at our meetings with the requirement to identify the compensation received from each municipality that you have a relationship with. That wouldn't sit well, and I was a lawyer once myself, and I would have practicing on my own, but before that I was with firms having a whole sea of people in it. And I know it would be frowned upon if I made it public what I'm getting paid. And I assume that might be the same bellyache that would affect some of our council. With 3 lawyers, and there's a town lawyer, there's this commission's council, and there's the appeals, zoning appeals council. Those are real legal position, legal consultancy positions. And, you know, we have some firms may in fact have outright rules, you know, you can't blab because we don't want our competitors to know what we pay our people. So as the situation evolved, that turns out to be a non-issue. But the note here was an earlier version, which I didn't follow the dictates of the town of the state, and you know, protect privacy, confidentiality concerns. You know, created our own question, which says, you know, if answering this question with respect to the money you get from all of your clients, all of your municipality clients, if that involves a bellyache for confidentiality reasons, then we'll work out a deal with you. But that didn't become, what law, didn't become part of the official question. And so it never, and so the fact that the Schedule H is wrong is immaterial.
Why is it? What I see is that he has disclosed
Wait a minute, wait a
all the
minute. I
incomes.
spoke too soon.
Yeah.
No,
So he
we
has
have
disclosed.
Oh, yeah, this was
Yeah.
Mr. Pounds.
He has
Okay,
disclosed
it
from
was-
different municipality.
Right, right.
Sharon, I'll get back with you to say what we have to tell Mr. Pounds. You know, what he should do. I don't leave that to you. You can assist me,
Okay.
but I want to talk it over with you because apparently he is having a problem with answering that question.
Peter, I'm missing it. He has disclosed
The next
the
question. yeah.
income
Yeah.
that he has from all jurisdictions.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no, I have to take back what I didn't see this. I just saw the main portion, but then under H, but he doesn't disclose. Oh, yes, he does.
That's all of them.
We have no questions.
All right,
Yeah, we're good. Good.
You're good with them.
I withdraw all my bold verbiage. So we are still missing the town engineer and
Two others.
what did I do with oh, here it is. Yeah, one member of planning and zoning and the town engineer. One one from
Bills.
Okay. It seems I will have enough lead time to make it to my appointment with the singers and the orchestra.
Very good.
You have to file a disclosure statement yourself, don't you?
For last year or for this year?
No, doesn't it say you have to file something for the ordinance?
Happy to do so.
I have a note here that maybe I misread the ordinance.
I'll check it also and see. I'll look at it and see if I need to file.
Oh,
I'm happy to do so.
well, where is my ordinance? Was looking at my ordinance earlier, and I misplaced it. Here it is. Um,
Section 25-32.
Newly.
An individual is appointed to fill a vacancy.
31.
Twenty-five, 32 deadlines. Number
Number
2.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and appointed to fill a vacancy.
I will take care of that.
Has file a public disclosure for the preceding calendar year within 30 days after appointment. If those 30 days have passed, I think we'll waive that requirement.
I don't think it's passed yet since I just got.
You're still
here
within
last
your
week. Yeah.
the grace period?
So,
Oh, okay. Oh, I have nothing further. The Next agenda point, as I mentioned earlier, is statements by the
Thank you, gentlemen,
members of the public.
for letting me come say, I guess, my piece and bring this to light for things that are going on through the town. So the main reason why I'm here right now is because I saw that your statement.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
Could you come a little closer?
Yes.
I can hear
Yeah.
much better.
This better?
Uh,
I heard a little much.
Well, they have you cordoned off here,
Uh,
the policeman, shadow policeman behind it.
Would it help if I lean down a little bit?
Okay,
Got you. Sorry about that. So my name is Zeth King. It's nice to meet you. And I was actually a employee of the town for 5 years. I worked for Public Works. I loved my job and it was good. But the main reason why I'm here at this ethics committee is because I saw the whole point of the committee is to, and I guess, inform people of in a public official or the town if they're acting in a corrupt or an indecent like manner. And there's been multiple things that you guys actually brought up today that really, I guess, need to be talking to about it, like the department head versus the director versus the superintendent. I was an employee for 5 years, loved my job, and knew everything about it. And I didn't know even up till February 12th, when I was terminated, that I didn't know who my director was. I didn't know the superintendent. I didn't know the department head was Holly. She's apparently the department head for Public Works, the treatment plant, all of these other things, but I did not know that. So I received an email on Saturday morning at 8:34 saying from the whole grievance board review, that there's information here that implicate the Calvert County Sheriff's Department. And I spent the entire morning at the Sheriff's Department and the courthouse and have not gotten any information. They have not a clue where this came up or how it was brought about. So I was just trying to bring it to the attention of this board to maybe look into it if you guys can, or I don't know, maybe try to get to the bottom of it, because since the county sheriffs are involved now, like, this is not going away. They're accusing me of things that are 100% false. There's no record of it at all. It was never brought up in my grievance hearing, my process, or anything like that. And throughout this whole grievance process, every step has been hindered by the town, whether they missed a time deadline where you have 30 days to get this to where it needs to go. You have 30 days this. I hit all my deadlines on point, and what I received from her was I was supposed to get a grievance report within 30 days, and that 30 days was supposed to be March 19th, and then I received it on March 24th, and it only had one sentence, and it was that the town unanimously agrees of the grievance decision. But in the town code itself, that I'm supposed to be able to get the written grievance report, the form, the findings, and all of this from the grievance board, which is overseen by the mayor, which is, I guess we all kind of realize, like, Holly plays that department too, that I did not receive any of that. So a couple of days later is when I received this implicating the sheriff's department, that apparently I've done some bad things at work and police were called, and this has never happened. Never been an issue or anything like that as I've been at Public Works at all. And all of this started on February 12th, and I am still fighting it. And the first step, actually, it's 5130 Part 4, is that if you are terminated or suspended immediately, then within 10 days, if you file a grievance, you can meet with the grievance board within 20 days. And when I brought that up to her, because I was trying to get this whole grievance procedure done and just move on with my life, but she told me, no, can't do that. Broke her own rule from right then and there.
Who is she?
Holly Wall. Sorry. Holly Wall. And I just kind of wanted to bring it to attention that something is definitely not right, like, at all. Not even, not right at all. And I've been at this nonstop, literally every night, just going over it. I read the entire town code, the ordinance, and everything dozens of times, and I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention to kind of maybe get to the bottom of it, because now the sheriffs are there, and I was there for about an hour and a half this morning talking to them, trying to figure this out, and they have nothing on file. And I have the sheriff name I talked to and all this, and it's beyond the point to where it's like now you're saying I did all these illicit things, but if I did all these illicit things, there would be documentation, there would be court records, there would be case reports, there would be filing or some type of information within the town code that actually says that I did this, and there's nothing at all. And it's, as you can see, it's like it still gets me because I love my job. I've lived here my entire life. It's my home. And now it's just like I've honestly lost faith, or some faith, in the whole process of how it works, of just how all this was handled out. Because every single step of the grievance process, I followed to, crossed my T's, dotted my I's, and every single step, it either has been broken, hindered, or just violated or ignored to the point where it's just blatant at this point in time. And I don't know who else to talk to. That's why I'm here today, because y'all are, it says, to make it difficult as possible for any official or employee of the town to act corruptly, which if you bend the rules of the system, that's corrupt in my book. And yeah, that's pretty much where I want to go with it. I just wanted to ask you guys, like, where do you think the next step should go of this is?
Do we have jurisdiction?
My suggestion for this commission is that we refer this to the town administrator and the town attorney before we take any direction on this, because we need more information if we just say anything about it. So
Right. We certainly can't give advice.
Oh, no, I understand that. It's just at, like, the whole entire started with this was with the town administrator, because when I got my letter from my boss, which is the superintendent, which I thought the superintendent would be the department head of all my years and all of my other coworkers / friends years who've been here for 10, 15 plus years, like, they all thought department head is just superintendent. That's who it is. That's why I'm glad y'all said something about that earlier, about getting clarification, because I had not a clue. It definitely got me by surprise. And then I'm realizing, like, going through my whole grievance process, like, I don't really see how you can have like a fair grievance process when you only saw the person who's heading the grievance process or who's making all of these accusations like 3 times a year. And the 3 times a year I saw her were all the special events that I worked. And I worked probably 9 out of 10 special events every single year. And I was the only person to do that. And it's just like, I just never understood how, like, this can come about when, I'm honestly at a loss of words, if you can't tell.
Could I just, for clarification,
Sir.
You mentioned that there's been allegations of illicit actions.
Yes.
Is that something that they've alleged happened while you were working?
Oh,
for
yes,
Public
sir. I
Works?
have the email right here. If you don't.
The question is, was that alleged
Yes.
while you were working there? And
Yeah,
that's-
can I read you the paragraph that I got? And what they're saying from the grievance board is that, like, it's not something that we've talked about through the whole grievance procedure. Like, you can't bring in after information, after facts, or after feelings into a report if it was never brought up at the grievance. And it says the misconduct ranged from work policy violations and ultimately having the need for assistance from the Calvert County Sheriff Department, where the employee carried a dangerous weapon onto a job site and threatened a coworker. If I did that, if sheriffs were involved, there would be a case number, there would be a report number. I would have been terminated that day, which goes, if it did happen and there was none of that, then why was I never terminated? So it's like, I mean, like, every single time I've come here and like tried to talk to people, go through my grievance process as the code says I should, there's just always something else coming up. I'm being alleged because it started off with, my first thing is that I'm not meeting the town expectations. And then it went to 2 other things saying that I have it all right here. Went to 2 other things, and then I'm like, that couldn't be, because if these incidents didn't happen, they would be documented. And then it went from that to 5 other things, and I'm like, you guys just keep rattling off town codes, and I don't know. I'm honestly at a loss. And I I thank you, and I genuinely respect y'all for taking the time and listening
Sure.
because
Can I have the spelling of your name, please?
ZE
First and last name.
ZETH King, KING. And if you want, I can bring by or somehow drop off or email you guys all of the emails, documentation. I have everything from day one till now. And it's a lot of paper. I thank you guys for your time. Genuine.
Uh, I don't know. That's something probably ought to meet,
Yeah,
whether or not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a
I think at a
personal
meeting
matter.
privately anyway,
Yeah,
it's
right.
appropriate.
Yes.
This issue, as well as the things that we talked about, while it's fresh on our mind, I think it would be good to kind of knock those out. So I would suggest actually, the agenda item for next meeting, we look for some date soon
Yeah.
that we all can meet and decide what is the role of the commission in this. And I have some other issues.
Are you willing to give us your manuscript? We'll make a copy right now.
Oh, all I have right here on my person is
Maybe you
the
already have that, do you?
email that I received from the grievance board saying that this is all that I have right now, but I have all the paperwork on a flash drive. I can email, send it, text it, or
Well, if it's a document that you want to keep close to your chest.
It's from the town.
extra copies. I have a lot of extra of these copies, but yeah, I don't mind giving you giving this to you. I can give you actually everything that I have right here. And except for these two, because they're personal notes written on them. And then there is this one right here that is just a quick summary up of my experience through the grievance process. And as you see, there are quite a few flaws that go against town code. And yeah, I'm gonna pass this to Sharon. Thanks. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, thank you.
Do you have a copy for yourself or is?
Yes, I have everything that I gave her at home.
Okay, so you don't need a copy of the copy.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I appreciate it.
I have to say something at a very general level. This body, this commission, has a rather narrow and specific mission in life, and the name of this commission is actually a little bit misleading. Ethics is a very broad term, and it encompasses many things, including shades of gray and things that is very much dependent on particulars of a situation. We do not hold a general mandate to look at wrongdoing or doing things that are not quite on the up and up, or things that are not quite fair. That's this. We will think about it, and that we have to talk among ourselves. Don't be discouraged. I'm not.
No, sir. Because
trying
this
to pull the rug from under your feet here, but I just wanted to say, there are grievances that we simply have no power to do anything about.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just came here because I saw your purpose of this is to hold any or make it difficult for any town employee or official to act corruptly, and not following the rules A, B, C, D, E is acting corruptly. My personal opinion, and yeah.
As you probably know, the dates for our meetings are always published in advance on the town website. And if you're signed up with your email address, you'll get a friendly email and said, here, forthcoming events. And it covers an Easter egg roll for the kiddies, as well as your
All the
less
events
fun
I've
but
worked.
more serious things.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to watch that, but we will, the very last item on our agenda is to schedule the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
And we will do that at the, earliest time that is feasible for everybody.
I thank you, and I look forward to hearing about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Date of next meeting.
And maybe it's a question to you or the council. Has the commission have the prerogative to have a private meeting?
There
Closed
is.
meeting?
Well,
There
I
is.
know how to have the most open schedule of anybody here, because I no longer go to the office.
I was going to,
But I know that
either.
you all do. So, well,
I was going to suggest that the next meeting would be a closed meeting so that we can discuss this item and
There is a provision in the code.
doing that.
allows
yeah,
that.
yeah. If it's we can exclude the public.
Assuming we are looking at June.
June, yeah, yeah. Earliest for me would be June, yeah.
Just changed our phone and my password is not working. Literally today, they switched to Microsoft 365
Right.
and it's not working. What I know generally when I am, what dates are we?
Let me float. June 11th. It's a Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Works for me.
Get it up here.
This would be a closed meeting, correct?
11 is good for me.
Looks good.
Evan, you said? Yeah, I can do
1
it.
o'clock? 1? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock, yeah, that sounds great.
It'll be 1 p.m. as usual. Any comments by commissioners? Peace on earth. and-
Yeah.
That's always good.
Looks a little shaky.
Yeah, it does.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.